I'd like to call to order this regular scheduled Oconee County Council meeting. It's August 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I'd like to have a moment of silence, please. Mr. Root.
Ruth, if you'd like to. Dearest Father, thank you for this day that you've made, the day you created and have gifted to us. Help us to be appreciative and to do good work during it. Thank you for this opportunity, this meeting tonight. Pray that you'd guide council, guide staff, help us all to just become aligned for the good of the county and by your will. I pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Crine, would you do us the honor of the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda is approval of the minutes of July the 16th, 2024, regular meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Not present.
Is that Mr. Yeh?
Mr. Root, county attorney comments?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I do have two. They're both in the nature of housekeeping matters. One, we need a motion to amend the agenda to remove the first discussion item. This is the approval of opioid funding. Some additional due diligence needs to be done.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
That is 4A.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second matter is to remove the executive session item, again amending the agenda. This is the receipt of legal advice regarding the general obligation bond lawsuit. It's premature, do not need it this evening.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
That is 4A.
That was all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Root. Ms. Brock, county administrator comments?
I just have one this evening, sir. Thank you so much. On page 3 of 4, about 2/3 of the way down the page with the sentence beginning, staff is requesting a 10% contingency under item title NIST Manager Upgrade/Expansion. There is a typo in the contingency amount. The amount reported on the agenda is $113,927. That amount should be $10,357.
Thank you.
It's a Scribner's error.
All right. All right, our next on the agenda is public comment session. I do have a word right before. I'd like to remind everyone that this session should be, and I emphasize should be, reserved for public comments related to agenda items and/or valid citizen concerns related to county operational business. And also, you have 5 minutes. When you hit 4 minutes in, I'll hold up the yellow, and then in 5 minutes, I'll hold up the stop.
Mr. Doug Music?
Thank you. I'm Doug Music from District 1, and I'd like to talk for a few minutes here about some things that were said at the last county council meeting in the public comment section that were erroneous. In the comment to deal with the Sewer South lawsuit, they accused the plaintiffs of wasting county money and I'd like to address that. I personally took 2 oaths, one to support and defend the Constitution of the United States when I was a military officer, and I took another one when I worked as a voting official for the county to support and defend the Constitution of the state of South Carolina. I take both those oaths very seriously. The South Carolina Constitution clearly states, I was hoping to be able to put up the wording directly, but it clearly states that counties are not to incur indebtedness for special services in certain areas without special tax or charge on that area or persons benefiting, and it specifically says sewage, fire protection, street lighting, garbage collection, and water service. Sewer South is sewage, and it's for the south part of the county. It's clearly in violation of the South Carolina Constitution to hold a bond and charge the entire county for something that benefits just that area. There are 2 remedies to fix this. They could do a special tax base for that area or fees for that area of the county to pay for the sewage for that area. Or the other thing is the county could have done a countywide referendum for people to vote on whether they wanted to pay for that. Neither one of those were done. The violation of the Constitution is very important. You're all consider yourself conservatives. I am a conservative also, but I'm a constitutional conservative. I want to uphold the Constitution of South Carolina. On top of that, you're compounding the errors you made by fighting this lawsuit instead of just saying, okay, we screwed up, we can address this another way and do it legally. Instead, you hired a very high-priced law firm to fight the constitutionality of this and spending even more taxpayer money on this, which you're probably going to lose. There's a nonprofit organization that is helping us in this lawsuit. Their board will not take a case unless they think they got a 90% chance of winning the case. Their board voted unanimously to take this case immediately as soon as they looked at it. It's an open and shut case. By the council continuing to do this, you're going to just waste more and more money. Like I said, you can do a special tax in that area, or you can go for a national or countywide referendum and see if the voters in the entire county want to incur that debt. In addition, these high-priced lawyers were hired and retained. Was there competitive bidding on their hourly rate? Was there a vote taken on hiring these people? Was there a public hearing done? None of this was done. I highly suspect that there is money to be made by people tying into this Sewer South project, and I hope it's not personal money or family or friends of yours. I hope you take this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Music.
Mr. Jim Mann?
Good evening, Council. Jim Mann, District 2 taxpayer. I'm also a named plaintiff in this case. I sent some information to Ms. Adams, the clerk of court, earlier today, hoping to get it either added to the backup material or added to the minutes relative to this case that's pending. I stated I am one of the plaintiffs. In fact, I'm one of 12 in this case, each of whom revere the Constitution and the rule of law, and brought this complaint before the court for consideration. Why? Because it's our understanding that the members of this county council and certain administrative offices violated the very clear and plain language of the South Carolina Constitution. That's already been read by Mr. Music. Up to this point, the court agrees with our understanding of the law. As a plaintiff in this case, I am thankful to be reassured through our judicial process that a lowly group of average citizens can still be recognized by the 10th Circuit Court of South Carolina as having both taxpayer and public importance standing. A legal standing that was granted by the court despite numerous arguments made by this county's defense team that we, the citizen taxpayers of Oconee County, had no right to have our complaint heard at all. If I can, please allow me to paraphrase. Not only do such taxpayers have standing, such civil actions are commended by this court. It is very commendable that public-spirited citizens should endeavor to protect the taxpayers of a county from the pointed efforts of a legislative body to make unconstitutional and unlawful appropriation of public funds. In closing, I want to address partly what happened in the last council meeting, but outside of this meeting chambers, let it be known that all public harassment, lies, intimidation, and attempts to defame criticism coming our direction at the plaintiffs, this has only strengthened our resolve to see this thing through to the end. I respectfully asked all the councilmen and administrative offices to consider this position going forward and not waste additional taxpayer money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mann.
Mr. Jason Boyle.
How are y'all? Yeah, I think that's an interesting story these two gentlemen just brought forward. I think Oconee County actually has a systematic problem that's showing its ugly head by popping up through all the mole holes, and we're playing whack-a-mole, these gentlemen, and my problem is completely different, but I smell the same rat, if you will. There's corruption in the Oconee County Sheriff's Department. I filed multiple requests with the Oconee County Sheriff's Department to have them make a police report that was actually correct. Very difficult to do, it still isn't done. I filed multiple complaints against 4 officers, Crenshaw, Jimmy Dixon, Barry Owens, and Jordy Jameson for a variety of things. I'm pretty sure those never made it to the record. I don't think that made it to their complaint record. I think that's been buried. And I've sent y'all a lot of emails. I sent that in detail, and I'm not gonna try to rehash the events of that right now. And I don't know if you've seen it, sir, but I've sent the emails to these gentlemen here. And so I think we have a challenge that rises out of what is the obligation of an elected official? What's the responsibility? What did you get elected to do? And I would say that you got elected to speak for the people, on behalf of the people, and in defense of the people. And I think that there's been a concern regarding the situations that arose in me. I think there's corruption in the court systems. I think there's corruption in the police department. I don't think you have to go far to look for it. So I think if you're not seeing it, you're choosing not to look. And I'm gonna ask that we all be brave together and let's look for it together. Let's go for transparency. Let's try to make a transparent environment. Let's do it collaboratively. I think we can all argue about the fine line between right and wrong. But some things are so right that we should stand for them if they're violated. And some things are so wrong that we should stand against the violator. We're not talking about the fine line. You've read those emails. I'm Jason Boyle. I now run OconeeNews.org, and we're gonna do our best to expose corruption in Oconee County and get rid of it. So I appreciate all of your time. I hope that the legal advice that you get is to stand for the people of Oconee County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles.
Miss Maria Green.
Hi, I'm Maria Green. Well, I did have something written up and I'm completely scratching it. Because first I would like to apologize to council for the last meeting in July. I had quite a bit of an outburst because I was upset and angry. And I do apologize. And I guess I just find this format of where I speak and then council comes back and rebuts. I just find it a little bit unproductive and it can be a bit frustrating because if someone says something untrue about you, you have to come back. And anywho, anyways, I just wanted to apologize for that. And I guess my point being here is not here. So I guess that's it. I just wanted to apologize for that. And maybe if somebody on council would please pass the message on to Mr. Durham, if he could just respond to an email. I don't really want to have to keep coming back and hoping that he will correct a lie that he told about me. It gets a little frustrating, it's a bit tiresome. So, that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Green.
That's all we have.
Councilmember comments? Do we have any? Next on the agenda is public hearing for the following ordinances. We got ordinance 2024-19. It's an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of easement rights to Duke Energy Carolinas LLC for the purpose of utility infrastructure construction and maintenance at property owned by Oconee County in Walhalla, South Carolina, currently designated by Oconee County Tax Map 500-19-01-006 and other matters related thereto.
We have no speakers.
No speakers. All right, I move to close public hearing for ordinance 2024-19. This is the third reading for the following ordinance. It's the one I've just stated.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Vote is 4-0.
All right, there's no second readings for ordinances for this session. We have a first reading for the following ordinance. It's ordinance 2024-20. It's an ordinance authorizing Oconee County, South Carolina to finance and acquire certain tanker trucks and related equipment in an amount not exceeding $3,380,000 to execute and deliver all documents necessary to carry out the financing and acquisition and other related matters.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes. Ms. Broad, have we investigated whether any grants available to buy these tankers?
Yes, sir, we consistently investigate grants for tankers. Tankers are typically not funded with grant funds unless the equipment is used or we can express a demonstration of need. Since the creation of the Emergency Services Capital Vehicle and Equipment Replacement Fund, we were not able to prove the demonstration of need, seeing that we had funds in a designated account for this purchase. This lease purchase is for 6 tanker trucks that will be spread throughout the rural districts in the county.
Any other comments? Discussion? All right. All in favor?
Vote is 4-0.
First and final readings for the following resolutions. There's none for this meeting. Discussion regarding action items.
The batteries.
Going down to the batteries. The title of this is Batteries for Voting Equipment, and it's for the Voter Registration and Elections Department. It's in the amount of $60,315.63. Procurement was approved by council in fiscal year 2023-2024 budget process. Funds for these services will come from unutilized funding in the fiscal year 2023-2024 administration department budget. It's the staff's recommendation the council approve the payment of invoice number 33411 for the purchase of the batteries for voting equipment to Print Elect of New Bern, North Carolina, in the amount of $56,901.54, and approve the payment of sales and use tax directly to the South Carolina Department of Revenue in the amount of $3,414.09.
Moved. Second.
Got a motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That is 4-0.
It should be upside back in circle.
Oh, that one had been deleted. Okay, our next discussion item is NIST manager upgrade / expansion, and it affects the detention center department. It's in the amount of $103,570 with a contingency 10% of $10,357 for a total of $113,927. Procurement was approved by council in fiscal year 2024-2025 budget process. Budget, $113,927. Project cost, $113,927 with a balance of $0. Funding from the South Carolina Department of Public Safety and in-cartel commissions. It's the staff's recommendation that the council approve the upgrade of the NIST manager system to DataWorks Plus LLC of Greenville, South Carolina, in the amount of $103,570. Approve a 10% contingency in the amount of $10,357. Authorize the county administrator to execute documents for this project and sign any change orders within the contingency amount.
So moved. Second.
I've got a motion, a second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
That is 4-0.
We don't have any council committee reports for this meeting. We don't have any board and commission appointments for this meeting. And we don't have executive session tonight. Do I hear a motion
Make a motion
to adjourn?
to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.